Yeah, live. ಇದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ ಆಡಿಯೋ? Online students, can you hear me? Okay, good afternoon everyone. How are you guys doing? Okay, wonderful. Okay, so we'll start with ethics, integrity and aptitude. All right. So this is part of your mains preparation. So it's good that all of you have decided to start with your mains also along with your prelims. So if you are comfortable with prelims, okay, then the best strategy would be to complete 2-3 subjects with respect to mains also. As I discussed in some other video earlier, where I told you that if you are comfortable where you are scoring about 80 to 110, 120 kind of marks in your prelims tests and other things, it is a very good approach to finish off 2-3 subjects, okay, static subjects with respect to your mains. So ethics is a very scoring subject from your mains point of view. It's a low hanging fruit, okay. You put in little bit of effort, okay, a little bit of strategy to address some of the questions, some of the types of questions, etc., and you will be able to score really good marks, okay. So if you put in a little bit effort, you can improve your scores by about 30 to 40 marks than what you would get otherwise, okay. Especially in KPSC, the marks range is very high, okay. Even if you see previous year toppers marks and all, you will realize that they are very liberal in giving marks. Especially those who are able to go towards interview, most of them have been able to score above 150 marks, okay. It's not the case with respect to UPSC ethics, okay. So if you write proper definitions, if you are able to understand the concepts and write more points in your answer, it's very easy to get that extra mark with little bit of effort, okay, and less remembering also, unlike your other topics like history, geography, etc., where you have lot of information that you have to keep in mind. Here with limited information, the way you understand the question and the way you write your answer will fetch you better marks, all right. So therefore, keeping all those things in mind, I have decided that ethics would be in 20-30 classes, 25 classes you can complete of ethics, self-reading, and spending about 1 hour or 2 hours after the class also, you can cover comprehensively the ethics paper, and a huge burden will be reduced, right. So once you finish your prelims, when you open your main syllabus, it's too vast, but at least you will have that confidence saying that yes, I finished 1 paper, now 3 more papers are left, and then when you see those papers also, a lot of things would have already been covered from your prelims point of view. So psychologically also it's a important strategy that you finish off this ethics, because nowhere in your prelims you touch anything to do with ethics, maybe little bit about governance and other things, but otherwise the entire paper is fresh. Even those who feel that I can give about 2 hours a day, simply attending the class, making notes would be also a good strategy, okay. After prelims you can start by hearting the points, etc. So just spending about 2-3 hours every day for the next 20-30 days will make a huge change in your preparation. So these are some strategies which we had adopted in our preparation, from which we have been very successful. Some of the toppers from last year, our students, they also followed the same approach, and they have been able to score. Like see, 30 marks, 20 to 30 marks is a huge score. Ultimately, when you see the final list, that 20-30 marks is huge. Okay, if you put an average effort, you will get around 120, 130 marks in KS ethics. It's very easy to get. Anybody can get this much. If you are writing your mains, that is, you will be already on an above average student. So if you are writing your mains, 120, 130 score is very easy to get. Now the idea of these classes that you will be attending is to increase your score by another 30 to 40 marks. That requires a little bit of effort, that requires a little bit of strategy, okay, a better clarity of thoughts and understanding, okay, that will get you that extra 30 to 40 marks. So that is what we will also be targeting in these classes, okay. So I am not saying that it's not easy, that you cannot do it on your own, but a little bit of help, you know, you will be able to elevate it by 30 to 40 marks. That's what I will try and do for you guys, okay, in these classes, okay. All right, okay. So online students also, the approach will be the same, right. So now I will try and give you an orientation to ethics paper in KS examination, okay, and try to get familiar with some terms in today's class, okay. So all of us, you know, are good people. At the end of the day, we are here to serve the people. So all of you have decided to enter into civil services with an objective of serving the society. You can't deny the fact. Out of all the reasons what you want to or why you want to become a civil servant or why you want to enter the bureaucracy, one of the reason obviously will be to serve the society. By serving the society, you make name, okay, you get fame, there is permanent job, all that is given. But the ultimate aim in the afternoon after having lunch, when you could have aram se slept at home, or you could have gone for work somewhere, or you could have, you know, done something else, but you decided to attend these classes, shows that you have that service orientation or a service mindset, okay. So that is what is to be ethical in our life, okay. So but this concept of ethics, integrity, aptitude has lot of new terms, new concepts that we need to get familiar with, okay, and lot of you know, new principles, etc. Though we are implementing it without our knowledge, lot of things we are doing, you know, ethical conduct is there in us, okay, without our awareness. So now what we do in this class is try to get a systematic understanding of these conduct, ethical conduct. So let me try to make you understand in this class the various concepts, terms, etc. in relation to ethics. All right. So as all of you are clear that we are going to do GS paper 4 on ethics, integrity and aptitude. Okay. So we will be covering 250 marks comprehensively in these classes. All right. So if you have seen the syllabus, okay, I am not going to go into each word in this way. Okay, let me make it clear to you first as to what we are going to study, and then we will list out the topics, important topics that we are going to cover in the class. If you have seen the syllabus, it's like this. Yes, section 1 ethics, section 2 integrity, section 3 aptitude. All right. Even if you see the mains UPSC paper, it's the same, okay, almost it's all the same only. So KPSC and UPSC ethics paper are the same, the topics are the same, the approach are the same. A little bit difficulty level is higher in UPSC compared to that of KPSC, but the same content will help you, the same understanding will help you with respect to your ethics. So now let's try and understand basically what is there in the syllabus in all of this, so that we can organize our thoughts. Okay, when our thoughts are organized, when we write answers, they will be much better. Okay, you will be able to write it much more systematically, your answers will be more structured, it will have more dimensions and more points will come easily. All right. So see, basically if you are trying to break it down, there are a lot of words that are scattered across this syllabus. So let's try and make sense of this particular syllabus over here. All right. So when we talk about ethics, see, basically in ethics, what are we doing? Okay, we are trying to study what is good and what is bad. Okay, what is a good conduct or behavior and what is a bad conduct or a bad behavior. Ultimately, that is what the whole subject is talking about. Okay, ethics. Now, in ethics, we'll have to know what is the meaning of ethics, dimensions, etc. Related to ethics, there are other terms also, like what is values, Okay, what is morality or what is moral, what is it to be morals, etc. So basically there are several concepts relating to good and bad. Okay, humans, okay, humans are social being, so we interact with each other. Okay, so we conduct ourselves with each other, we interact with each other. So that interaction can be good or it can be bad. Okay, so related to that good and bad, there are various terms and concepts. First we have to understand what is ethics, what is values, what is morality, okay, what are the different values that we have, okay, that makes it ethical, okay, like compassion towards others, empathy, sympathy, right, okay, our dedication to serve the society, all these are values, for example. Okay, so like that there are so many other things. What is code of conduct? Like this, there are several concepts that we need to understand. Alright, so that is the first thing that we are going to do in our class. Get clarity of all these terms, all these concepts, okay, that is there in the syllabus relating to ethics. Is that okay? What is good conduct? What is bad conduct? What is good value, bad values? Okay, morality, immorality, okay, code of conduct, code of ethics, like that so many terms are there, okay, in relation to ethics, the ideas behind it. So each of them are different chapters. Is that okay? So this is one aspect that we are going to study. The other aspect is the philosophical aspect, meaning the various theories to help us understand these things better. See, because ultimately all these are very subjective. Yes, they are very subjective. What is good? Okay, me wearing a jeans pant, okay, is good in some society, it may be considered taboo in another society. Alva. So it's very subjective. So it has been studied for generation and people have been discussing about it and debating about it, giving their theories, giving their opinion, religious scholars, philosophical scholars, okay, leaders, political leaders, okay, everybody has been trying to give us their opinion, their ideas, their principles with respect to what is good and bad. So that is the philosophical aspect or the theoretical aspect of this ethics. One is the understanding of concepts, ideas. The other part of it is the philosophical part of it. Okay, so where we will be thinking about moral thinkers from world and India like Plato, Aristotle, etc. Is that okay? Then we have Indian scholars also or Indian moral thinkers. Okay, so you have various religious scholars like Jainism, Buddhism, which also provides principles of you to be ethical. Correct? No. Same way you have leaders like Gandhiji who talks about what should be your conduct be to ensure that you are ethical in your life. So moral thinkers from ancient times, medieval times, modern times, okay, contemporary philosophers, etc., and their ideas. And not only that, the various theories that they put forward, okay, various theories that they put forward, like utilitarian theory, okay, as an example. So like that there are various theories which will help us to be ethical in our life. Or because it is very subjective, these theories will help us to reduce the subjectivity and bring objectivity in our conduct. Okay, now for example, okay, utilitarianism, which says if large number of people benefit from our action while some, okay, get affected by it, it is still ethical. See, that is what justifies, for example, the justification given for war. Through war, what is happening, like World War II, okay, is justified in, like, the Allied going and attacking the Germans, etc., is justified, saying that, or for example, US putting bomb on or nuclear bomb on Japan is justified. Why? Because small number of people died when compared to the large number of lives that is saved. Okay, that is one theory which justifies that action. Okay, utilitarian theory as an example. Okay, for us, if you ask, okay, putting nuclear bomb, is it good or bad? Now I will be confused. But if I rely on these theories, if I rely on these principles, I am okay with it. Are you understanding? Anyways, we'll come to that individually. Okay, so lot of subjectivity is there. Now me wearing jeans, okay, is it good or bad? I can justify it by taking support of certain theories. Is that okay? So that is why theories or principles or philosophical ideas come into picture. Now religion also, okay, it is there to help us to to decide our conduct. So our religion tells me, my religion tells me I am not supposed to eat this food. When it is there in front of me, I know that I don't have to eat it. It is very clear. If I eat it, then I am unethical. If I don't eat it, I resist the temptation, then I am ethical. So these principles help us to take decisions. Okay. So that is where these philosophical, ethical, so that also is part of ethics. And the third part is the application of these things. So there are three parts of it in your syllabus. I mean, if you try to break down what we are going to study as per the syllabus is, one, the concepts, then the theoretical aspect, the philosophical aspect or the philosophies given by various scholars, leaders, moral thinkers, etc., academicians. And the third one is the application. Application can be from an individual point of view. Application can be from an individual point of view, or it can be for a particular group. See, for example, civil services code of conduct. It is for whom? For the group of people who are appointed to serve the people. Is that okay? So that is the application. Now applying those values to a particular individual or a group, it becomes the applied part of it. So there we are going to study about good governance, we are going to study about service delivery, we are going to study about code of conduct, code of ethics, work culture, things like that. The application of it on a day-to-day basis. Similarly, individual conduct also is shaped and we apply it, okay, at individual level. So that also can be taken into account. So we will be studying those things also. So if you see the syllabus, it is these are the three things. One is the concept part of it, one is the philosophical part of it, the other one is the application part of it. So that is how the syllabus can be grouped into. So our chapters, how we are going to progress also will be in similar line. Is that okay? All of you understood this, right? So that's what we are going to do here. First we will try and understand the various concepts. Okay, so to make ourselves clear of various terms that are there in the syllabus. Not just the meaning of it, we will try and divide, subdivide it, etc., the features and anything else, comparison, similarities, everything about it. Now for example, ethics and morality. How are they same? How are they different? We need to know. Ethics, what are the different types of ethics? We have to know. Like that. Every topic, ethics, values, morals, integrity, okay, they are same and different at the same time. Okay, being ethical, being moral may look like it is same. Yes, it is same on various parameters or various ways, but at the same time they are different in various ways also. Is that okay? So like that, clearly we will try and understand all of them: ethics, values, morals, integrity, aptitude, attitude, emotional intelligence, etc., etc. Everything to do with ethical conduct or everything to do with being a good person. Everything to do with being good. Let me put it that way, okay, in today's class. Everything that we need to learn to be a good human being, a good person, okay, to be ethical, having good values, ethical values. Not all values are good. That's also something which we will study. It's so interesting. See, not all values are good. Okay, at one point of time, sati was considered as a very noble value. A woman who commits this or who practices sati was considered to be of a very high status. It was considered very valuable. But today we don't consider it to be so, right? So like that, values, morals, what is integrity, aptitude, things like that, lot of terms and concepts we will try and understand. Okay, and then the philosophical base. Sometimes these philosophical aspects we will try and integrate it with these concepts itself. Okay, like as I told you, utilitarian theory and all, if we don't have to do it separately, wherever possible we will try to integrate it with these concepts itself so that it can be clear. All right, and then philosophical moral thinkers, world as well as here Aristotle, Plato, etc. Then you have religious thinkers, okay, or in different religion. Ultimately all religion tries to spread peace, non-violence, and help individuals to be good human beings. So what are those religious tenets, if at all something which are important, very often asked in your examination? I mean, examiners are very fond of asking Jainism, Buddhism in everything, prelims, mains, GS, everything. So those things can be used over here. Then various ethical theories, as I told you, scholarly theories also we need to study over here. Okay, so they have asked these kind of theories from both world as well as in case of India also. And then as I told you, these concepts and these philosophies or principles, okay, find place today in various fields, whether it is civil services or whether it is any other profession, doctors code of ethics or conduct, okay, lawyers or any profession, okay, etc. So you have private ethics which deal with individual conduct, public ethics deals with our interaction or ethics in our interaction with the rest of the world, or the public or the society as a whole, okay, public administration and related to that various ethics, etc. Public service, good governance, okay, ethical dilemmas that we face on a day-to-day basis, whether it at individual level or as administrators, civil servants, etc. Probity in governance, corporate governance, ethics in international funding, like that. There are so many other topics. I have just given few examples over here. Those are the application. So you need to organize your thought that way. First, understanding the concepts, okay, then the principles behind these, okay, based on moral philosophers, thinkers, etc., and the application of it, okay, in various field and especially public administration or public service, etc. So this is how we will try and progress in our class. All right. So this is basic how the syllabus is. If you read the syllabus, go through the syllabus, you will find these topics scattered in different places, but this is how it is. Okay. All right. Now, just to give you an idea as to how questions are asked in your mains. All right. The understanding of this will help us to prepare notes for that particular topic or each topic, how much notes we need to prepare. If you see in 2021, KPSC May, they had asked 5 20 marker, 4 15 marker and 5 10 marker question. I mean, KPSC has been changing itself, because after 3 years, things, they only forget how the questions were asked. So every time they will try and plan out new things. So that's how it was asked in the previous examination. Now it is 2024. If the exam is held in 2024 or 25, still 3 years is over. Okay, so it may change also. So we can't rely too much on these things. But what I want you to understand is, they have asked 20 marker, 15 marker and 10 markers. Okay, so 20 marker about 300 words. 15 markers about 250 words, this about 150 words. Okay. So what we can understand from this is, when we want to have content for each topic in the syllabus, we should have about 300 words or 3 pages maximum we should have. I mean, they won't ask more than 20 marker is what I can assure you that. I mean, more than 20 markers they will not ask. Maximum they will ask 20 marker. They had asked case study. Okay, one directly case study, the other one almost like a case study, okay, type of question. You can see it from the previous year question. I don't want to discuss it right away, because again, lot of ideas you have to learn before you can understand those questions. Anyway, so the case studies, right, 2 case studies were asked, 20 marker. And if you see the previous years, again, as I told you, they were all different. So in 2014, for the first time when ethics paper was introduced, it was 12.5 marks, okay, 20 questions they had asked. Okay, and in 2015 they had asked 20 marker 5 questions and 15 marker 10 questions they had asked. All right. So this is how, and there was no case studies. Okay, there was no case studies that were asked, even though it is mentioned in the syllabus, right, case studies, but they had not asked previously in 2014 and 15. 2021 they did ask one proper case study, the other one question basis, but I somehow think that it can be similar, more inclination towards it being a case study. Okay, so that's how question is asked. So 20 marker, 15 marker, 10 marker questions are asked in your KPSC mains. If you see UPSC, they are more consistent. Okay, at least if they change once in 3 years, 4 years. So how it has been recently is like this. So 10 marker, 13 questions, the rest are all case studies. So section A and section B. Section A were all theoretical questions, okay, 10 markers, and section B was case studies. Each case study was 20 marker, 6 case studies were asked. So that's how UPSC made that. So here also you can see 10 marker question. Sometimes they have, earlier they had asked more also. So there also it can vary. So this is how it is asked. Now before I go into further discussion about the approach and all of that, so the first approach is that you should know what type of question is asked, so that when you start reading, when you start making notes, etc., you should start focusing on those particular topics. Okay, so first type of question that is asked is direct concept based question. Forget the concept questions over here, just understand that, like, if ethics is a concept, they'll ask what is ethics, what are the determinants of ethics, what is values, what are the essential values that a civil servant must have. For example, okay, so they have asked like distinguish between code of ethics and code of conduct with example. I have just put some easy ones, okay, over here. Explain the determinant and consequence of ethics in human action with suitable example. So like that. See, these are all what? Concept based question. Okay, what I put the first table, no? Okay, concepts. So based on that, what is emotional intelligence and why is it important for a civil servant to be emotionally intelligent? Give examples. Is that okay? Okay, what is work ethics and what are the components of good work ethics? Atara. From concepts they will ask question. All right. Then from the concept you apply it to real world. Okay, that kind of question. Like corruption is a manifestation of failure of core values in the society. In your opinion, what measures can be adopted to uplift the core values of the society? So real life kind of examples or contextual questions are asked. Is that okay? Based on the concept. So here it is probity. Okay, the question is on the concept of probity. We will come to that word later. Okay, so there is a word called as probity. So from that they have asked this question. Okay, so we will have to try and relate that idea to this opinion of ours. Similarly, with regard to morality of action, one view is that means is a paramount importance and the other views the ends justifies the means. So there is a theory, one theory which says that okay, means are important, okay, the other theory says means are not important, the goal is important. So being KS officer is important, how do you go through that, that's not important, is one theory. The other theory says no, means you be honest and then aspire, study, attend ethics class at 3 o'clock, then you clear, that's the good way to go about it. So that's what the question is asking. So like that, again it's based on the concept, okay, different theories to explain those values. Now that is applied to the real world life is what I am trying to say. So combining these two, so values, okay, and various theories relating to values. One theory says means are important, the other theory says means are not important, ultimate goal is important. Like Robin Hood, okay, Robin Hood or KGF, right? So doing good ultimately is important, whether you kill people for it, that is immaterial. That is one theory. The other theory says no, even the means are important. So like that there are theoretical aspect of these values and ethics, okay, applied in real world. So that's what the question is also asking you. So the real world aspect, okay, in relation to the concept. Okay, so which view do you think is more appropriate and justify your answer? Okay, that is applied. Again, applied only, but specific to public administration or civil services. Majority of your questions, like at least application oriented questions, will be from a public administrative civil services point of view. Obviously, because you are aspiring to be that. Alright. So, state the 3 basic values universal in nature in context of civil services and bring out its importance. What is meant by public interest? What are the principles and procedures to be followed by civil servants in public interest? What do you understand by moral integrity and professional efficiency in context of corporate governance in India? Again, public administration or governance. Illustrate with suitable examples like that. So, same thing, again, don't worry about these questions right now. At the end of our classes, 25 classes, you should be able to write beautiful answers for this. That's our goal. Okay. Next type of question, governance related, specific governance, factual, like how other GS papers are public administration or polity or governance, like that, direct. So, explain the process of resolving ethical dilemma in public administration. Right to Information Act, okay, empowers not all about citizen empowerment, it is essentially redefines the concept of accountability. What do you understand by probity in governance, etc. I mean, I am just trying to group it, that is all. There is overlapping, you can say it is also conceptual question and all of that, it is okay. So, this is another type of question. Then they can also ask questions based on quotes. Okay. So, UPSC 3 questions every year they are asking from quotes. Okay. Last year one question from KPSC also was from quotes. Okay. So, quotes can be asked. Alright. So, like this, Gandhiji, simplest act of kindness are by far more powerful than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. To awaken the people, it is women who must be awakened. Once she is on the move, the family moves, the village moves, the nation moves. Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay, like this, quote based questions are very commonly asked. 1 or 2 quote based questions also can be asked. But again, it is not like an essay. So, little bit focus should be there on ethical dimension of it. Okay. So, even here when he is talking about women empowerment, etc., you bring out the ethical values like justice. Okay. So, because justice, the principle of justice is that everybody shall be treated equally. So, you have to make sure that your answers revolve around this principle of justice. See, that is where the difference is. Okay. If it is a 10 marker question, the way you write, if you write it like other general studies answer, economy, polity, etc., okay, you get about 5 marks. You write it from a ethics point of view, where you incorporate like the principles of justice and quote some theorists into that, you will get that extra 2 or 3 marks. That is what we are planning to do in these classes. Okay. Next, situation based question. That means they will put you into a situation and expect you to analyze it. I mean, ethics, I mean, case studies will be more likely like that, but otherwise here, suppose the government of India is thinking of constructing a dam, okay, on in a mountain valley bound by forest and inhabited by ethnic communities. What rational policy should you resort to in dealing with unforeseen contingencies? Anyway, so it is not completely an ethical dilemma question. Okay, if it is so, it will be case studies. Here it is mainly giving asking your opinion as to what kind of policy measures they should adopt. Okay, immediate measures, long term measures, something like that. Okay, so that is situation based question. And then theorist based questions. So, as I told you in your syllabus, moral thinkers are also mentioned. So, the theories given by these moral thinkers, philosophical thinkers also is asked. Okay, if you see here, critically consider the essence, determinants and consequence of human action with reference to J.S. Mill's act of utilitarianism. So, what I told you over there, then Charvaka and Karma Yoga principles, which is Indian philosophy. So, based on that, how you define your values or human actions. Another example, what were the major teachings of Guru Nanak? Explain their relevance in contemporary world. Is that okay? So, like that, you know, religious thinkers also have been asked, or religious leaders, etc., have also been asked. So, that also we need to organize it, okay, and try and address those, at least not complete, you know, having 10 pages on each person, at least, you know, 1 page or a half a page on each of them, at least to write, you know, introduction, and then you write what relevance you can write on your own. What did they say, at least you should be aware of. So, something like that. So, this is theorist based questions. Okay. In UPSC they had asked even one word questions. Okay. So, they have like you know, asked 5 words and asked you to explain those words. So like that also you can expect questions. So I am just telling you what all questions you can expect. Now you will get a handout of previous year questions from both UPSC and KPSC. Just go through it, okay. Whenever you have time, try to solve it. Once a particular topic is over, relevant to that, you try and solve it, okay. By doing that, you will get that experience, okay, and when you face the real examination, you won't be surprised, all right. Now, one more aspect of ethics is case study, all right. So basically, they give you a story, okay, or the context. The story will contain the context, and you are asked questions about the ethical dilemma in that context. So usually the story will have an ethical dilemma. Ethical dilemma means, okay, there are conflicting values in that particular story. Conflicting values. Which value are you going to choose? Okay, are you going to use nuclear bomb and end the war forever, or are you going to not use that and then continue the war and then see how it goes, or use some other thing that you want to do? So like that. So there will be conflicting values or ethical principles, okay, you will have to resolve it. Not resolve it, or you will have to give your opinion. So there is no correct answer, by the way, in ethics. It is the way you write and the principles that you use to justify your actions or your answer, that's where you get your marks. I'll repeat again, there is no correct answer, okay. In case studies or in most of the ethics questions, there is no one answer. Is that understood? You can write your answer and then you should justify it based on ethical principle, okay. You can't say I will put nuclear bomb and end the war because I like it, I want to see that cloud. No, that's not the thing. You should justify it based on some principle. Okay, if your actions are based on principles, those actions are not considered wrong. I'll repeat again, if your actions are based on ethical principles, those actions cannot be considered as wrong. See, for example, you may kill somebody in self-defense. You may kill somebody in self-defense. Okay, legally also it is not a crime, okay, and ethically also under certain principles, they are not a crime. But under certain other principle, which we will discuss, I don't want to use those names here, but in certain other principle, no harm should be done whatsoever. Even if that person is, poking you, killing you, etc., you are not supposed to react. There are some principles like that. Then there are some principle which says in self-defense you can kill them. Is that understood? But you should use those principles to justify your action. You can't say that I killed because just for the fun of it, I wanted to say how to kill and all. That cannot be the reason. You can justify your actions only if it is based on ethical principles. Others may not agree to it, but if your conduct is based on those ethical principles, then it is right. That's what your answers should be. Is that understood? That's how you should write your answer. Is that okay? So ethical decision making is a process rather than the correct answer. That's what it means, the statement. You understood this statement, all of you? Okay, ethical decision making is a process rather than the correct answer. It's a process. What principle are you using? Are you addressing the immediate challenge, long-term challenge, etc.? What are you trying to do is what is discussed over here. Is that okay? Right? So case study presents a story of a context, putting them in the role of decision maker. In that context, you are the decision maker, okay, or an administrator, etc., and you have to solve a real life problem. So based on that context, how and what principles are you going to use to solve it? So therefore, first you need to know these principles, know the concepts, etc., and then you start making those decisions, right? So that's what we need to first cover up, okay, then start discussing on the case studies. All right, the situation does not have any obvious solution. Please remember that there's no obvious solution for these case studies. Okay, it's always debatable. Okay, nobody will agree on one single solution to all of this. Is that okay? Like whistleblowers. Okay, so is it good, bad? Okay, again you need to justify it based on principles. Okay, so for that first we need to study the principles, which I told you is the first part of our classes. Okay. So some different types of case studies that is asked, like case studies relating to personality trait, okay, like friendship and other things, love, affection, hatred. Okay, so personality trait, to what extent are you going to express those personality trait which are ethical? Okay, then like compassion, empathy, sympathy, love, hate and all that. Then ethical dilemmas, conflicting ethical principles, okay, or conflicting moral values. Is that okay? Like an old lady comes to you, she doesn't have any documents, okay, but you can see that she is good, she deserves the benefits from the government, etc. But the law, code of conduct says that you need to take these. Like say for example, KPSC you might all be facing the application dilemma. Correct, no? So last moment, that this, etc., last date, this date, all those dilemmas will. So let's say you are KPSC chairman, okay, assuming, right, that you are honest KPSC chairman. Okay, so would you give an extra day, not postpone the exam, etc.? What happening that only, no? Correct, no? So that's an ethical dilemma, something like that, where there is no correct action. It's conflicting principles. Okay, administrative issues. Okay, then corruption in organization. All right, culture based questions, then value based questions, etc. We will see that when we start with case studies, we will elaborate on these things a little bit more detail. So these are the different types of case studies that will be asked. Is that understood, all of you, the type of questions that can be asked in your examination? It's okay about not understanding any terms right now because we have not done any. All right. So I'm just trying to give you clarity of the syllabus. So the syllabus is basically broken down into concepts, theories and philosophical aspect, and the application of these concepts and theories. The questions therefore can be asked, okay, as theory based question, or it can be asked in the form of case studies, where they are trying to understand whether you know the concepts, whether you know the principles and philosophical aspect, and whether you know how it is going to be applied by using case studies or theory based questions. So all these are theory based questions and then case study based questions. Is that okay? So the marks can range from 10 marker minimum to maximum of your 20 markers. Even less than 10 marker it can be. So they have asked 5, so in one question they have asked 10 marks, and under that they have asked whatever 4 or 5 questions, words they have asked. Okay, so that means each word will carry 2 marks. Okay, so like that also questions can be asked. Is that okay? So that's how you should prepare your answer. Online students, do you understand? Okay, so I think later you can go through the previous year questions. We'll try to give you the handout by tomorrow. Just go through the previous year questions, or just keep glancing it once in a while after the class. Okay, so that you will get to know how questions are asked, and in your notes only you write there it was asked as a 10 marker, 20 marker. So when you're preparing, they will rephrase the question and ask it different way, or they may interrelate two different topics or questions and ask another question. So lot of questions keep repeating, at least in ethics. So it makes lot of sense that you try and read previous year question of both UPSC as well as KPSC. Even if you are exclusive KPSC students, make sure you go through some of the UPSC questions also, okay, so that it will help you to understand how questions will be asked. All right. Now, so basically at the end of the class, okay, end of our module on ethics, you should understand what is and why is it important of every term relating to ethics. What is values, why is it important, what are the different types or components of that. Okay, so like that everything that is there in the syllabus, what and why, and then how do you inculcate it in your life. Okay, not just from future point of view, but even from writing a good answer, how well you will incorporate these concepts, etc. Definitions, understanding other important terms, etc. Moral thinkers, ancient, medieval and modern, some leaders, some administrators, etc. Answer writing to make sure that you have a good flow, more number of points, more marks. Please remember that, more points, more marks. Okay, and also I think that will be examples. Okay, you have to write examples whether it is asked or not. Is that okay? Whether it is asked or not, you write examples. Okay, some suggestions also. So suggestions, when they are asked, you have seen now some questions expect you to give your suggestions. So to give those suggestions, you should have some scholars who have suggested, some organization or some report or some committees which has given suggestions. If you have that, you use it while giving your own suggestions. Makes much more sense. Okay, some case studies, where you have more approach. I mean, they ask about real life examples, etc. So you can use that also. And important reforms in administration, etc., like ARC report and things like that. Salient features of those things also you should have. So at the end of the class, you should have all of this. I would say, other than the concept, examples are very important. You should have lot of examples which you should reuse, recycle, depending upon whatever questions is asked. You should have some common examples also. Okay. So this is what we will do at the end of the class. So what is your approach? So this is all what I will give you in the class. Okay, all these will be given to you in the class, and this is what you are supposed to do. Okay, so this is what is expected out of you. So know at least one definition for each term, proper definition, comprehensive definition. If you know some theorist, well and good. Even otherwise, at least you should it should have the same meaning to it. You can write in your own words, but have a proper meaning. So one definition, at least minimum. Okay, one definition minimum. If possible, the theorists or philosophy or somebody behind it. Okay, then broad framework of all concepts, meaning the subheadings. Now, for example, when I talk about ethics, the various subheading types of ethics, determinants of ethics, the different theories of ethics, headings. So those are the different components. And see, once you get the subheadings, no, you can write at least 30 to 50 words once you know the subheading. Is that okay? That is how it will be in the exam also. But getting that heading will become difficult. If there are 5 headings, only 3 headings will come to you in the exam. If all 5 comes, you will be able to get more marks. So the headings you should start focusing and keep repeating it. Okay, specific content for the syllabus, like keywords. So every topic will have certain keywords that the examiner will be looking for. So that keywords should be there. Like for example, when ethics is being talked about, okay, conduct of individual, that word conduct should be there. You write it anyhow, but somewhere in your definition or answer or principle or point, that word conduct should be there. Okay. Then practice answer writing regularly, okay, in class, off class also. Then you should have one written class note. So from today you have a 200 pages of notes. Okay, I am telling you, this is going to save your life in ethics. Okay, 200 pages, it may actually increase or become more than 200 pages. Okay, you might have to keep 2 volumes, but this 200 pages, something like this. Okay, so this is also my notes, something like this. So where you have everything in that notes, and all that you have to do is keep revising it. Multiple sources you can put it in that notes, or whatever I give in class you put it in the notes, and then when you write tests or when you go through some other book you find some points, you add it to that. But you should have that 200 or 300 pages and you should keep revising it, so that when a question is asked, information will freely flow and you don't have to worry about it. There will be no mental block. If you have it in your book, then that's a, you feel safe. You just have to keep revising it. So this is what I believe in mains is going to help you in KPSC, like optional subject. This is how you should have one single notes from different source. So ethics means definition, headings, subheadings, okay, good examples, etc. They will ask you example. That time you will be like, what example, where, what, etc. If it is there in the notes, you revise it multiple times, it will come. So please, all of you, keep one note. See, it may look very child or very infantile to do that at this age, right? But it will help you in your examination. Okay, so I strongly believe that you need to keep one single written notes. Okay, one standard textbook if you want. So I have scratched it out if you want, supplementing the notes. But what notes that we will be making, creating, okay, in the classroom. So what notes I showed you, I will be reading it myself from several sources, and then I will be making a comprehensive notes and dictating it in the class. Make sure you write it down, okay, wherever I will dictate, most of it will be dictated, okay, you write it down and you will see the magic later. Is that okay? And you know, so you can do it yourself, but we are just cutting time, that's all. Is that okay? And repeat revision. Okay, when ethics is asked, values is asked, okay, name important 5 values that civil servant should have. No thinking, your hands will do the writing, that's all. That many times you should revise. That is how you score 170, 180 in ethics paper. Yes or no? Okay, so that's what we will also aim to do that. You all want to clear this attempt itself, right? So this is what you have to do. Simple. Understanding, we will do it in the class. Okay, the concept clarity, we will do it in the class. Notes also we will do it in the class. Revision, writing answers, you have to do it on your own. Is that okay? So that's what we will try and do. That can be converted into micro notes. Now 300 pages of notes I will be dictating. Okay, that has to be converted to about 15 to 20 pages. Okay, now I told you utilitarian theory, Kant theory, that name will not be there, I will forget it. So you put those as micro notes. Some important data, corruption index, India's ranking based on World Bank report, etc. Like that, if you have those exact words, Nolan Committee on Ethics, okay, that word Nolan, you won't come, it will be some British committee, something not able to remember. So like that, those keywords, 10, 15 pages, just before you enter your exam afternoon, you will be eating lunch between 2 papers. You will read that 15 pages and go back, go and write your paper, and magic will be done. 170, 180 will be your score. Simple. Okay, whether you are in the list or outside the list will be decided. In the list, whether you will settle for cooperative society or will you get AC revenue. Understood? That's the difference. Okay, even if you get cooperative society or if you get some other service, I am sure you will be writing next 3 years later also, or 4 years. So don't let that cost you dearly. So the simple mistakes that we do costs us 3 to 4 years. Now what's your age? Add 3 to 4 years for that. Will be the next KPSC notification. Is that okay? If everything goes well. So don't let anything affect you. So this has to be done. I am again repeating this because many people think, hey, it's okay, I will do it. Or no, it's lot of hard work has been put, okay, to make the notes, will be put while in the class also to make the notes. Now when you're writing that, you should keep it, okay, I mean, you should make use of that, repeatedly revise and write the answers from that. Is that okay? So that's what is expected out of you. What else? Yeah, so what I will do is explain the concepts, terms in very simple manner, giving examples, etc. Alright, notes after that. Okay, so while explaining, you don't have to write notes, then I will dictate the notes, 1 or 2 definition, 2 or 3 definitions. You will have choices so that you will write 1 definition or remember 1 definition. I will give you 2, 3 for each of them. Examples, some facts, some case studies, etc. Then approaches to write answer, because we practice answer writing every day after the class. 1 question, 10 minutes, that's all. Okay, 2 hours class, 10 minutes of answer writing. Simple strategy for the next 20 to 25 classes. Maybe in between we might have to take break, because I might have to take break, but by next month 15th, today is 15th, next month 15th, ethics will be over. GS4, unlike other students, you will be very comfortable. Okay, so you will have enough time to prepare for your prelims also after that. Okay, 2 months you will have after that. Okay, so by that 15th of next month you will be comfortably completed GS4. Okay, all that you have to do is after prelims open that book and keep revising it, keep writing answers. Okay, so that's what will be the approach over here. Okay. Any doubt? Okay, so I have just given the timetable over here. You will get the handout now, the timetable and all other things. Okay, so the timetable. So I have not just put the dates of the classes, I have just put the hours. So we will be trying to have regular classes on weekdays. Okay, in case 1 or 2 class in between we might miss, so I have not put the dates. Okay, but what I assure you is by next month 15th we will complete the entire module. All right, so today is orientation with getting familiar with certain terms and concepts. From tomorrow onwards we will start with ethics, human interference, human values, and so all these are number of hours. Okay, so maybe 2 hours of ethics and human interference, values, attitude, social influence, attitude, foundation values, emotional intelligence, etc. So these are the concept based questions. Then we have moral thinkers, India and the world. Okay, and then applying it to public services, those will be the class 11, 12, etc. Public and civil services, ethics in public administration, the sources of public, ethics in public administration, international ethics, corporate ethics, and case studies, etc. Probity in governance, good governance, work, these are all again service related questions like good governance, work culture, code of conduct, code of ethics, public service, etc. And in between we have case studies also I have put here. Okay, so once we finish a little bit of concepts, we will take up some case studies relating to those concepts. Similarly, once we finish public administration, some case studies based on that, and similarly certain other things we will discuss some case studies relating to that. Okay, so that's how we will try and do it. Okay. All right, so that's what we can do. So reference source other than class notes, if you want to, that you can be a judge of it. Okay, you can decide if you need more content or not. Okay, if you are focusing only on like giving 3 hours per day for ethics, then you don't need any other source, because I have all the source, I am sitting with it and I am trying to make notes or improvise the notes, etc. So you can be less assured that if it is good in one book, that will be there in our notes. So you don't need, but even otherwise if you feel that one book is there next to me, it will give me that energy or something like that, then you can keep it. You can use it as reference, no problem at all. There are several good books that is there in the market, you can definitely use it. Is that okay? So you can, there is McGraw-Hill's M. Karthikeyan's book, okay, Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. Okay, then I think Subbarao, one more book is there. That's also good. I didn't have the picture. Okay, so you have it somewhere. So that's also good book. And then lexicon on ethics, lexicon, that's also a good book. D.K. Balaji, that's another good book. Okay, which you can refer. Okay. All right, so that's something which you need to do. Then second ARC report, there is a chapter called as Ethics and Governance. Maybe if you want, you can read it. You will get the PDF of it online. You can read it. Okay, but otherwise we will incorporate that in our notes itself. So not a problem. At least it should appear to the examiner that you read it. Okay, so that's how we will incorporate it in our answers. Select topics from Indian Constitution. Obviously you are supposed to know certain salient features of our Constitution like fundamental rights, the preamble, DPSP, because that will help you to write answers relating to ethics in public administration. Okay, so those basic things you should be aware of it from your Lakshmikant, you should be knowing. Okay, then other references, and if you are having the habit of reading, you can read some books from great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, etc. So books you can read and try to enhance your personality, which will help you in your entire life also. Okay. See, I have found ethics to be more interesting as I grow older also. Okay. So because in real life situation, whatever we study here, actually helps us a lot. Okay. So tomorrow when you face a lot of dilemmas, not just in administration, but also in life, okay, these things will help you a lot, and it makes it much more interesting. If you look at it only from a theoretical perspective, it becomes very boring. Okay, but if you look at it from a real life experience, then it is actually very interesting. Trust me, when you go down the lane 10-15 years, lot of ethical dilemmas you will face as civil servant especially, and individually, yes, we all face those ethical dilemmas, should we do or not. And when we do something wrong, or when we feel it is something unethical, or when there is a doubt whether to do or not to do, etc., we have lot of psychological problems, we start developing mental problems, we have sleepless nights, etc. So that time you will start reading self-help books, etc. This is nothing but self-help books that you are going to read in the future, okay, but from the exam point of view. So it's actually nice if you look at it from that way. If you want to be a better human being, you know, you want to be more efficient, more effective, more ethical, you want to be liked by people, okay, you want to serve the public, you want to be a good father or a good mother, or want to be a good daughter or a son, okay, all these things will help you a lot, okay. Apply that in your real life context or try to give examples. It makes it really interesting. Even when we started, so you know, my batch 2010 was the first time they introduced ethics in UPSC. So that time hardly any books or content was there, okay, but now though there is so much of books and content on these things, no doubt, okay, but at the same time it is becoming much more relevant, okay, because there is so much of you know, ethical dilemmas that we face as individuals as we get exposed to newer people, newer context, etc. So these things really help you to take decisions, okay. So in that context, try and appreciate this subject. It's a very beautiful subject if you ask me. I mean, it is a good thing that they have introduced it, okay, but don't let it just remain on paper and your books. Inculcate them even in your real life to see the change and other things, okay. Right, so we'll start with our ethics now, okay, the subject. All right, online students, I hope, any doubt, guys? Okay, so all of you can start with a new book. If you didn't bring it today, tomorrow bring a new book, okay. I would strongly recommend that, or you can write in sheets of paper and then you can what do you say, file it and compile it together. And for online students, yeah, so what was the question? Okay, what is the time? 3 to 5 o'clock every day, 3 to 5 o'clock. If you cannot attend live classes, so you will have access to the recorded classes, okay, you can go through that also. Any doubt, guys? So we'll start with what is ethics then. Yes, so what is ethics? Simple definition of what is ethics. As I told you just now, yes, so what is good and what is bad, okay, that is the study of ethics. So evaluating somebody's conduct, okay, or somebody's action from whether it is good or whether it is bad is what is called as ethics. See, humans perform actions. Humans are a social being, we constantly perform actions. So these actions can be evaluated from whether it is good or whether it is bad. Okay, so this three sacred monkeys story we all have heard. I mean, its origin is from Japan. We have incorporated in almost every aspect of our life. Okay, so see no evil, right? Hear no evil and say no evil. Okay, so that is what is this three monkey story that we all have been taught in our school. So in addition to that is do no evil or do no wrong things. So that is what is to be ethical. So humans, the conduct of humans or human actions, so they can be subjected to whether it is good or whether it is bad. Now that is what is ethics. I will define and do everything, so then you can write. You just listen to whatever we are discussing. Okay, so let your notes be in that way be very crisp and not be cluttered. So ethics, it can be a subject. Okay, it's a type, I mean it's a branch under philosophy, or it's a subject under philosophy which tries to analyze human action from the point of view whether it is good or whether it is bad. That is what is ethics as a subject. So we study, we analyze whether this human action is good or bad. When we say human action, it is not just the behavior that we are doing, but also the intent that we have. So even if we have bad intention, that is also wrong. We may not act, but if our intentions are wrong, then also it is unethical. So bad intentions or decisions and the action. Okay, the intention. So we study the intention of people, we can study the decision of people, or we can study the conduct of people from the point of view whether it is good or whether it is bad. Now what is good, bad, we will decide later. It's very subjective. There are various principles, okay, which will help us to decide whether it is good or bad. Now in ethics, what do? We judge somebody's action from whether it is good or whether it is bad. Okay, so that is what is ethics. Okay, so we also have to look into the fact that whether this action is voluntary or involuntary. See, for example, children, okay, when they do some crime, they are treated different from adults, yes or no? Alva, when children perform a crime, they are treated little bit different. Okay, their conduct is not judged the same way as adult is judged. So not all human action can be judged. Which human action can be judged? The actions which are through free will, which are conscious. That means we are aware of our action, knowing its consequence, knowing its impact. If we do it, then it can be subjected to your ethical question whether it is right or not. So only voluntary actions are subjected to moral scrutiny. Okay, we will come to it. We will try and get clarity over it. We are just getting started to it. That is one aspect or one definition of ethics. Ethics as a subject. Ethics as a subject, what do? We study human action from the point of view whether it is right or wrong. We come up with various principles and theories to explain human conduct. Like utilitarianism, I told, no, it's a subject. Within the subject, it's a principle saying that utilitarianism means these. Is that okay? So as a subject, we study the principles, we judge them, we evaluate, etc. As practice, ethics means it is giving you directions as what you are supposed to do. So now I will tell you that be empathetic to people, help people, be dedicated. So I am telling you something and I am telling you how you should conduct your business, how you should act. So that is ethics as a practice. Okay, so ethics can be moral principle that governs your person's behavior. I will tell you to write. Okay, so ethics can be moral principle that governs person's behavior or conduct or how to conduct his activity. Very simple definition wise, right? Or it can be a system of moral principles and a branch of philosophy which defines what is good and for individual as well as the society. Is that okay? So that is what is ethics. Now if I talk about principles, again we don't have to write it down right now. We will discuss it later. What are the different principles? As I told you, justice is a principle, meaning everybody should be treated equally. That's a principle. So your conduct should have this principle. That is ethics. Studying that principle also is ethics as a subject. Ethics as a guide, ethics as a subject. Ethics as a guide is telling you how you should behave, what principles you should incorporate. You should have the principle, or you should respect others' independence. The principle is autonomy. Your actions should ensure justice. Your actions should ensure beneficence, non-maleficence. Okay, beneficence means one ought to prevent and remove evil or harm. One ought to do and promote good. Your action should be beneficial. Whatever you do in your life, it should benefit others. Okay, so that is one principle. So ethics tells you to do these things. It is guiding you to do this. So that is ethics as a action. Ethics as a subject evaluates somebody's action based on these principles or theories. So now we need to be clear with these terms. Okay, so one by one we will try and become familiar with these terms. Okay. Leave it. We'll come to ethics, the term, definition, etc. Just aram se now listen to how do we go till ethics. What is belief? What is belief? Somebody told you Arjun sir is good, his classes are good, go and attend. Okay, so that has brought about a belief in you that if I go attend his class, I will be comfortable. Or somebody will say, no, it is very bad, don't attend. So that will put in your mind a kind of belief. So what is belief then? Belief is an internal feeling that something is true. I may be good or bad. You might believe that Arjun sir is good, or you might believe Arjun sir is bad. You might not have experienced it. Okay, if you experience it, it's not belief. Belief is without any experience, you still believe it to be true. See, I am using the word believe in that only. You understood? So you believe God is there. Have you seen God? Can I ask you that question? You believe because somebody has told you, or you have indirect experience, or your religion tells you, your elders told you. That is belief. Okay, believe that becoming an IAS officer or KS officer is good. Are you an officer right now? How do you know it is good or bad? It's a belief. Okay, so everybody has some kind of a feeling about truth, good or bad, whatever it is. Okay, so that feeling that you have within you is belief. Okay, see, all these words are very important, even though if it is not asked directly, these are important. So what is belief? It's an internal feeling that something is true, an acceptance that something exists or is true without any proof. Now, will you get 180 marks in ethics? You don't know. But you believe that by attending this class, hopefully you are believing that attending this class, you will, see, I am believing that you believe me. You understood? So it's without any truth, without any experience. So it is based on knowledge. See, it is experience. I have done this, I have got 180. So you do it, you will also get. Is the experience. Or some leader has told you, or some topper told you, go, you will benefit. Correct? So persuasion, somebody is pursuing, you got a call. Okay, some telecaller called you, go, attend. Persuasion. Correct? Influence, toppers influence. Culture. Okay, respect to teachers, respect to civil services, etc. Whatever, charismatic leader. So that shapes your belief, right? Belief is that you want to do something or not to do something, etc. So now that belief will shape your attitude. Yes or no? Okay, attitude will be shaped because of your belief. See, you believe in me, so you have attended this class, or you feel that attitude that is there, that comes and helps you. So that is belief. Anyway, so now belief, okay, will in turn shape your values. So now what are these values? See, we are trying to put all the words in the first class only, don't get overwhelmed. We will then go on to discuss each of them individually, okay, so that you understand what we have to study in ethics. So now you understood what is belief. So the next thing is values. Okay, so what do you mean by values? What do you mean by valuable? Something which is worthy, important, right? So that is valuable. So values is something which you consider it to be important, something which you consider to be important. When I say you, it can be even a unit, like a group. When a group considers it to be important, that also is a value. Value of a group or value of an individual. Value of an individual. See, for example, Indian society, they value family. Maybe American society may not value family the way we value family. Yes or no? Our parents will suffer their entire life so that they give a life to their children. You don't see that in America. Why? Because they don't value family as the way we value family. So Americans, they don't consider family important. Asian society considers family important. So what do you mean by value? Importance of something to the individual or a unit. Unit can be group, unit can be a caste, unit can be a profession, unit can be anything. Unit can be a society, unit can be a community, unit can be whatever, a religion. Yes, if you take Hinduism, so they value something. If you take Islam, they will value something. If you take Christianity, they will value something. Okay, so what you consider something to be important, like honesty, compassion, empathy. Okay, socialism, capitalism. So a market based economy, they will value commercial profit, etc. A socialistic society will value communism, socialism, etc. You get the picture. So it varies. So value is something which is considered important, based on which we will evaluate everything. We will evaluate everything and make judgments, okay, about how desirable or undesirable that this is to us. Okay, it guides our choices, okay, our perception of the worth of others. That's why when we see an officer, okay, we consider that to be, something which we want to do because we value that post, that position, etc. Right? Influence our behavior of all those who interact with them. Okay. So values, based on the values, when something is prescribed to you, that becomes norms. Social norms, have you heard? What is social norms? When the society considers something to be of value, that becomes the social norm. Is that okay? So if the society values education, if the society values education, if the society values education, so going to school, okay, attending classes, so they will become the norms. Okay. So ideal is value that is actively pursued as a goal. So something which you are doing in order to achieve that value, that becomes your ideals. Your ideals are to work hard, to become civil servant, to do that, this, that becomes your ideals. Okay, so these are all little bit overlapping. So we'll come to values now. So you understood what is belief, you understood what is values. We'll come to that later. Very quickly I am just trying to finish these 4 or 5 words so that we can put all of them together. So now you understood belief, you understood values. So that shapes our attitude towards something or someone. Is that okay? So you value hard work, you value achievements, civil servants, etc. So when you see officers, what do? Sir, namaskaram. Come, sit. Why? Because you like that person, your attitude is so towards that person. Respect, fear, command, etc. You dislike somebody, you see a criminal. Okay, your belief is somebody who has done a crime is a wrong person. So your behavior is towards that person is shaped, okay, through your attitude. So what is the attitude when you see a criminal? Correct, no? So see, let's say you don't like politicians. Let's say you are come to civil services. So now when you see politicians and do all lies that tell you. That's the attitude. Why? Because you don't like politicians, you don't want to become politicians. But on the other hand, somebody who aspires to be a politician or who has seen, let's say his parents have been politicians and they have seen them struggle. So they have a good belief about politician, they have good value towards politician, so they have good respect towards politician. But let's say a common man on the street, not you guys, who has suffered because of the atrocities of bureaucrats. As soon as they see bureaucrats, they will have what kind of attitude? Negative attitude, because their value has been shaped because of their experience, which has been bad. Okay, now that is attitude. So what is attitude? A psychological tendency that we express by evaluating a particular entity. How do we evaluate? Based on our belief and based on our values. Based on that we evaluate somebody that shapes our attitude towards that person. Okay, so we respond to that, okay, in a positive manner by giving gift or bouquet or something, or negative manner by giving one slap. That's the attitude that we have. Okay, so positive or negative. This attitude, when it is put into action, that becomes behavior. When that attitude is put into action, it becomes behavior. So when you actually go and slap that person, that is your behavior. Or when you go and give the gift to that person, that becomes your behavior. So response to stimuli, okay, exhibited by the human. When the human act, it becomes the behavior. Again, it is influenced by attitude, behavior, persuasion, culture. All these things are shaping the behavior. Now, why did I put this last one is, so your values, your beliefs, so your values will shape your beliefs, or beliefs will shape your values. The values in turn will shape your, or beliefs will in turn shape your attitude. You understood? So what is values? Values which we consider desirable, yes? What we consider desirable is the value. Belief is something which we consider truth, even when we don't have the fact, that is belief. So beliefs and values, they shape attitude. What is attitude? A psychological tendency to act either in favorable or disfavorable. See, you believe cow is God, like in Hinduism, cow is considered to be God, or human incarnation, or mother, whatever you believe, if you believe. Okay, so you believe that. Do you have proof? That nobody is asking. You believe that in Hinduism, that cow is sacred. So therefore you value cow dearly. Yes. So therefore, what is the attitude you have towards the cow? Reverence, positive. So that shapes your attitude, and therefore this shapes your behavior. As soon as cow comes, you will touch it, feel it, etc. Take blessings. So that is your behavior. On the other hand, who don't have such kind of beliefs, okay, they will not have such kind of behavior. Did you all understand this? So that is how it is. Now this behavior and all other things can be subjected to moral scrutiny, whether it is good or whether it is bad. That is what is ethics. So if we scrutinize these things from whether it is good or bad, that is ethics. And when it prescribes you to do these things to have a good behavior or conduct, that is also ethics. So did you understand how we started? We started by saying ethics is a discipline that studies all of this. That's why we study values, code of conduct, etc., the list of values. It studies the beliefs, attitude, etc., which shapes our behavior, and also we bring into account the context. Some scholars says context should not be taken into account. Some scholars says context should be also taken into account. See, for example, killing somebody. What is the attitude towards killing? Negative. Yes, so they say you should not look at the context. Another theory says that context also is important, because if you are killing somebody in self-defense, that can be considered okay. Anyway, so all these are what is going to be studied in ethics. Did you understand? This entire slide is about that. You study ethics means you study people's values, beliefs, attitude, context and their behavior, from whether it is good and whether it is bad, is what is called as ethics. Is that okay? So we'll just write down these things and then we'll move on. Okay. Okay, so give the first heading, terms and definition. The first chapter, terms and definition. Give the heading, terms and definition. I'll keep it very simple. The definitions or the notes. Okay. You can also use it in the same way. Okay. Man performs actions. Man performs actions. Man performs actions. These actions can be voluntary action. These actions can be voluntary actions or involuntary actions. In bracket you can write voluntary actions dash when he knows the outcome, comma voluntary in nature, and action of free will. Close the bracket. See, these three words are very important. See, when an action is subjected to moral scrutiny, whether it is right or whether it is wrong, okay, it should be voluntary in nature. Only then it is subjected to ethical scrutiny. See, when we say this, see, for example, you have a boss. Okay, you have a boss. The boss is forcing the subordinate to do, let's say, corruption or something wrong. So now we have to scrutinize whether it is ethical or unethical. So what do we have to say? See, now this subordinate, let's say Mr. X is indulged in corruption. So can we analyze it from an ethical point of view? Yes. For that, first we have to see whether this action is voluntary. So what are the three criteria? One, they should know the outcome. So does he know that it is wrong? Corruption is going to cause harm to the society or harm to the organization or harm to other stakeholders. So he should be aware of it. He is an adult, so it is assumed that he will know it. Second is, it should be voluntary in nature. And the third one is free will. What are these two things? One, it is voluntary in nature means that he has taken the decision on his own and he is not forced or compelled to do it. If he is compelled by his boss, then he is not subjected to moral scrutiny. If he is forced to do it, if he is put a gun onto his head and say, you do it or else I will kill you, then it becomes involuntary. Then he is not subjected to moral scrutiny. Use this to your ethics case study. That's what you should know. Is it voluntary? Second is that. Now free will is what? Does he have other option? If there is no other option than to do that, then it is not subjected to free will. There is a little bit difference. Being forced is the second criteria. The third criteria is free will means there is no other option. Like you are driving a car, the brakes are gone, you are pressing the brake, nothing is happening, it's still going. That means you have lost the free will. You understood? You are driving a car. Now if you knew that the brakes have failed and yet you drove the car, that means it is wrong. Let's say you didn't know. Then you sat in the car. Nobody forced you. Yet you only decided to drive the car. Okay, if you didn't know driving and you drove the car, that means you knew that without knowing driving, you are driving, it is wrong. So all that is wrong. Okay, but now let's say he knows driving. He did not know that there was no brake, etc. Then he is trying to drive. He is in the slope. He is pressing the brakes and there is no way to go that side, this side also. Let's say only way to go is straight. That means he has lost his free will. There is no other option. Only one option. That means lack of free will. If he has two options, then it means that he has free will. Did you understand the difference? Being forced is one. Lack of free will means having no alternative option. So that kind of action is called as voluntary action. What is that? Three things. It should be, he should know the outcome. It should be voluntary in nature. Third one is free will. If these three criteria are fulfilled, then they are subjected to what? Moral scrutiny. See, children, why are they not treated like adults? Does it fulfill the three criteria? No. They don't know the outcome. So they are not subjected to moral scrutiny, ethical scrutiny. So their actions cannot be subjected to moral scrutiny. Is that understood, all of you? Knowingly, not forced, and not without any free will. Then it is subjected to moral. This one. Okay, so you write down. Close the bracket. These actions can be voluntary action or involuntary action. You have written that? Okay. Next paragraph. Voluntary actions are subjected to moral scrutiny. Voluntary actions are subjected to moral scrutiny. That is, whether it is right or wrong. Whether it is right or wrong. Full stop. This is ethics. This is ethics. Next paragraph. Thus, ethics is a systematic study. Thus, ethics is a systematic study of human actions, from the point of view of whether it is right or wrong. Whether it is right or wrong. Next paragraph. Ethics is moral principles. Ethics is moral principles that govern a person's behavior. Or the conduct of an activity. Next paragraph. Another definition. These are all different definitions. Conduct of an activity. Next paragraph. Another definition. Ethics is a system of moral principle. Ethics is a system of moral principles. And a branch of philosophy. Which defines what is good for the individual and society. Okay. So now when we say moral scrutiny, so basically when we are trying to differentiate what is good and what is bad, that is what is moral scrutiny. Okay, when we say morality, when we want to study somebody's morality, what are we trying to do? We are trying to understand what is good and what is bad. Next paragraph. some you can just write down this, some principles of ethics. You write down this, some principles of ethics. Okay, you can write down. Just example, we'll do this more later. You just write down this first one, autonomy. So these are the principles. So principles are very broad in nature. See, DPSP, directive principles, right? So what is that? It's a broad direction. Okay, it's very general in nature. Actions are very specific. Now honesty, for example, is a principle. Is that okay? Now how is it implemented in your life? You can be honest to yourself. You can be honest to others. You can be honest in your job. So when honesty is applied to a particular job, it is very specific. But honesty is a general idea. Being compassionate is a very general idea. Being empathetic, it's a general idea. So therefore, those are all principles. So principles are general in nature. Is that okay? They are not very specific. Okay, you can write down. So the principles of ethics, some of them: autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, justice, honesty. Okay, so these are all examples of principles of ethics. Just as an example, you can write down. So non-maleficence means don't harm another person. Okay, so your action should be that it will not harm another person. Okay, you want to play music, play, but don't create nuisance to others. You want to ride bike, you ride bike, but don't do wheeling and cause harm to others. Yes or no? That is non-maleficence. Similarly, beneficence means do something which will help others. Justice means treat everybody equally. Okay, your autonomy means don't take away their liberty, independence, like that. Okay, acknowledge people's right to make the choice. Did you write down this? Others like honesty, empathy, compassion, dedication to weaker section. These are all principles. You can have a list of it, which is what we will be doing entire class. Okay, so now you understood. So these moral principles that we need to incorporate in our life to be a good human being is ethics. Ethics tells us what principles we should incorporate. Ethics studies those principles like that. Do you all understand what is ethics? All different meanings. So it can be a branch of a subject, or it can be an instruction given to us to adopt these moral principles. Okay, next you can write. So what do you mean by morality now? Differentiating, or the ability to differentiate what is good and what is bad. Okay, so you can write down next paragraph, or you can give the heading morality. Give the heading morality. It is concerned with the principle of right and wrong behavior. Right and wrong behavior. Therefore, morality is differentiation. Of intention, decision, and action between those that are good and those that are bad. Did you all understand? Now, if you apply this whole idea of ethics and morality to civil servants, so don't you think civil service performs actions? These actions are thus subjected to moral scrutiny. Yes, so this is called as ethical scrutiny of civil servants. Now, ethics also prescribes. So, can we prescribe ethics to civil servants? Yes. So, what is that? Code of conduct or code of ethics. As an example, is that okay? So, we can evaluate their actions, we can prescribe principles to them. So, that is what is ethics in civil services, etc. Next paragraph. Now, applying this to a profession, comma, say civil services. Now, apply this, okay, make that change. Now, apply this to a profession, say civil services, full stop. Civil servants perform various actions. Civil servants perform various actions in their capacity. These actions are subjected to moral scrutiny. This is called ethics in civil services. This is called as ethics in civil services. Next paragraph. And prescription of right or moral actions to civil servants becomes code of ethics for civil services. Code of ethics for civil services. So, we understood what is ethics. Yes, we understood what is, or we have written down what is moral. We will do it more detail, but for now we have understood what is ethics, evaluating the conduct of people from whether it is good or bad is ethics, or prescribing them good conduct is ethics. Moral is differentiating right from wrong. Yes, moral scrutiny or morality deals with differentiating right from wrong. They all are subjective, leave that fact, but when I subject your actions, okay, and say it is good or bad, that becomes the scope of ethics. On the basis of what? On the basis of certain principles. This also is subjective. Yes. So, when we apply it to civil services, what did we understand? So, we said that civil servants can be subjected to moral scrutiny. So, that becomes ethics of civil services. And we can prescribe moral principles to them. That becomes code of conduct for civil services. Okay, so that's what we have understood. Okay, so next give the heading beliefs. Give the heading beliefs. Give the heading beliefs. It is an internal feeling that something is true. You can write down what is there in the board. An acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one without proof. It is based on knowledge, based on experience, influence, persuasion, culture, charismatic leaders, etc. There is a topic called as persuasion, okay, in your syllabus. So persuasion is an attempt to change somebody's belief, mindset, belief. So for that at least you should be knowing this. So beliefs is what ultimately shapes your values, which in turn shapes your attitude, which in turn shapes your conduct. Okay, so if you want to persuade somebody and change their attitude, change their value, change their conduct, you have to pursue them, persuade them. What do they do in persuasion? Change their belief. So we will bring and make a topper stand here and tell you to attend the class. Then you will change your beliefs like that. Okay, now so that's what. So therefore belief is that. So all these are related. It's nice to know it. So when you know that this will happen, then you will not be persuaded wrongly. Okay, so that also is there. So if you are pre-warned that this person will come and will pursue, so like when politicians come, you are already pre-warned that yes, this person will put topi on me. So you are pre-warned. So you will not do it like that. Wrote all of you belief. So all these are terms so that we get familiar with the idea of ethics and all of that. Okay, beliefs written. Next, values. This also will do it little bit detailed, but for now you can write down this values. Okay, I will just dictate values. You can write down importance of something to an individual, bracket mein, or unit. That is what is value. Okay, write down the first point, the importance of something to an individual or unit. That is what is values. That is that which is desirable. That which is desirable. Next point. It is a standard on the basis of which we evaluate something. It is the basis on the, it is the standard on the basis of which we evaluate something. Next point. They are fundamental belief. Values are fundamental belief. Values are fundamental belief. That guide our behavior. Comma, choices and decision making. And decision making. Examples. Next point. Examples. Honesty, freedom, compassion, empathy, etc. Okay, next give the heading norms. Okay, under that you can write in points. Norms are values in action. Norms are values in action or practice. Next point, they prescribe set of standards for our conduct. Okay, next, ideals. Next, give the heading ideals. You can write down under that points, values that are actively pursued. Values that are actively pursued. Actively pursued as a goal. As a goal. Next point, they represent the highest. They represent the highest or noblest noblest aspirations and values of a person or community So the relationship, if you see, they are more or less in similar line also. So values is something which we consider important. When they are prescribed, they become norms. When they are prescribed, they become norms. They can be prescribed by the group, by the society, they become the norms. Are you understanding? So value is something which the society, see for example, in Indian society, family system, or we value family, yes or no? We value family. So as soon as you become marriageable age, what is done? They start telling you, get married, have family, make babies. Yes, so that is the norm. What is the norm of Indian society? As soon as they graduate, as soon as they become KS officer, they should get married. That is the norm. What is the norm in America? What is the norm in US? That will be different. Why? Because their value is different. So value is something which is considered important. So when this value is prescribed on somebody, it becomes the norms. The ideal and the highest level, that when I am telling you ideal only, the highest level, the most ideal level, ideal person in Indian society is what? Somebody who gets married, okay, to the girl or guy the parents show. Immediately after 1 year after marriage, they will have children, 2, 3, 4 continuously. Okay, well settled job, and come back. So that becomes the ideal. Why is it ideal in Indian society? Getting married, having children, earning for the children, and then having family, house, that. Why is it so important? In US, if you see, nothing like that. Enjoy your life. Whatever you earn, you keep it, you enjoy, travel, do party, etc. That is considered. Why? They value independent freedom and other things. Indian society values family as an institution. So the norm in US is different. The norms in India is different. Norm is something which is prescribed by the society. Understood all of you? And now what is the ideal? An ideal individual, if somebody is not married in India, 45, 50 years is not married. Is he an ideal person? He is an exception. He is not ideal. Somebody who is enjoying, partying, drinking, that is he an ideal person? No. In US, there may be an ideal person. He is living his life. That's how he should be. Here, mad person is such a bad child, that this they will tell. So norms will vary. Ideal in, what is ideal? The highest level of goodness that one wants to pursue. Is that okay? So here in India, if somebody is working day and night, he is considered to be an ideal person. US mates not like that. My friends who are working in US or in certain European countries, 5 o'clock after that, if he works, he is a mad person. Something is wrong with him. They consider it to be like that. Here if he works extra, then he's like, hard working person. Correct, no? So it varies. Why it varies? Values vary. So values provide the foundation of the norms. Norms are prescribed. Norms can be prescribed for civil servants, norms can be prescribed for teachers, norms can be prescribed for civil service aspirants. Yes? Shaping the rules. You can write down this, that governs behavior within the society. Norms reflect and reinforce these values. Ideal represents the highest value. Is that okay? So values, foundation, norms, prescribing appropriate conduct to achieve that value. Ideal, highest value. That is the aspirations of the society, highest aspiration and principles of the society. It is important that you know these terms to further understand ethics and morality and values further. So I'll stop the class with this. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue from here. Okay, so we have just finished with just few terms. Okay, so once we finish all of this, we'll start with our first chapter, ethics as a chapter. Okay, further the theoretical aspect of it, the determinants of ethics, the various dimensions of ethics and all that. So we're still coming to it. So now as we understood, so these values will ultimately shape our attitude. The attitude will be reflected in human behavior. These human behaviors will be subjected to moral scrutiny, and that is what is ethics, is what we have understood. Just go through this, what we have written down. In tomorrow's class, we will continue from here, getting familiar with all those terms that we have listed down. Okay, so all these terms we will try and get familiar with, and then move on to our first chapter. Is that okay? Any doubt? Okay, so give it a couple of days for you to get familiar with the terms, because a lot of new things, etc. You might find it difficult. You don't have to remember exact words. You can just keep them in mind. Okay, so matlab you can write in your own, just understand the ideas. Okay, you can collect the welcome document which contains the syllabus and all of that. Okay, how much marks, etc. So it will help you to prepare for our next class. All right, thank you guys. If you have any doubt, let me know. Online students, I hope it was helpful. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the chat box. Okay, otherwise, thank you guys. Have a good day. Notice board. Notice board.